In this tutorial, I'll demonstrate how to export multiple objects at once, or multiple pages at once, using the Export Docker introduced in CorelDRAW 2021. This Docker has several time-saving features, enabling you to export to a number of industry-standard formats with a single click. Before we get started, if you're watching this video on YouTube, you'll find a link in the description below that will take you to our tutorial page on Corel's Discovery Center. Here you can also download a written copy of this tutorial. In my first example, I have 9 grouped vector objects. Each measures 1,000 square pixels. To prepare for export, my first step will be to rename each group with a unique name, since these names will be used as file names upon export. For multi-export options, I'll open the Export Docker, either from the window Dockers menu or by clicking the plus sign along the list of open Dockers. To export a single copy of each object, I'll first set the default export format from the available GIF, JPEG, PNG, or PDF options. Then I'll select all objects and click the Add New button in the Docker. The order of objects is the same as the order in the Objects Docker, and my default export format is selected for each object, though I could change this for any object. I can uncheck anything I don't need exported. I'll click the Destination folder icon to set where the new files will be placed, then click Export All. In the Destination folder, I now have a file for each object I selected for export, with file names that match object names. That was a simple example, but now let's look at exporting multiple versions of each object. In the Docker, I'll click the Delete icon for each object to remove it. I'll select just one object, the first logo, and bring it into the Export Docker. This time I want JPEG export, and I'll click the Settings icon, which opens the export settings relevant to JPEG export. I'll choose High Quality JPEG and leave the rest. For suffix, I'll add _1000 pixels so that after exporting, I'll know which version is which. Now I want to export a second version of the same object. So I'll click the Options icon and choose Duplicate, replace the suffix with 250 pixels, and open the settings. Under Transformation, I'll change the size to 250 by 250 and click OK. I could add more export versions in any of the available formats, changing settings as needed. Now I'll use the same export settings for the rest of the objects. I'll select all but the one I already have, and for the 1000 pixel export, I'll click Options and choose Add Asset with these settings. With the same object still selected, I'll do the same for the 250 pixel version. I'll export all, and within a few seconds, my destination folder has 18 files, a 1000 and 250 pixel version of all 9 objects. In my next example, I want to export the Happy Birthday text and colored lines below it as one object. But because they are all separate objects, including the yellow block shadow on the text, I first need to combine them into a single group. Now, with this group renamed, selected, and brought into the Export Docker, I can export one PNG, then make a duplicate for GIF export. I'll export all, and now I have both versions, each of which contains all of the elements I wanted. In addition to exporting multiple objects, I can also export multiple pages. In this example, I have a 4-page document, and in order to view all pages at once, I'll open the Pages Docker and click the Multi-Page View icon. Then I'll use the Multi-Page View Settings icon to display pages in a 2-column grid. For exporting, if I select objects on these pages, it would be the objects that get exported. But to export an entire page, I just have to make sure that only the page itself is selected. With page 1 selected, which I can do in the workspace or in the Pages Docker, I'll add it to the Export Docker, change the format to PDF, and open the settings to make sure that all looks good. Now I can shift-select the other 3 pages and add these assets with the same settings. I'll export all, and in my destination folder I have all 4 pages in PDF format. This brings us to the end of this tutorial on multiple object export in CorelDRAW. If you've been watching this video on YouTube, you'll find a link in the description below that will take you to our tutorial page on Corel's Discovery Center. Here you can also download a written copy of this tutorial.